from 30 gigawatt in 2016 to another 25 to 30 expected this year. The scale of the Chinese PV market is truly spectacular, and as it has grown in size, so has its impact and influence on the global PV sector right across the supply chain. But what's the future got in store? Here at the 2017 SNEC trade show in Shanghai, we're going to try and find out.
So I think the common expectation is that the market's going to be less, and there have been some announcements talking about a 20 or 25 gigawatt market. But we still feel very bullish on the China market and think it'll be just as large, if not slightly larger, than what actually happened last year at the 34 gigawatt level. I think you have to understand that there's a lot of more movement towards DG, and there's also going to be a large volume in the first half this year, much in the same way it was last year. But I think some of the DG portfolio will surprise people at the upside.
Yeah, certainly there's the potential for an upswing. Last year, out of 34 gigawatt, around about 4.1, 4.2 gigawatt were considered distributed generation. Yeah, it could be at least being, again, meeting such kind of installation volumes. Yeah.
And in 2017, the China market doesn't only mean utility scale PV. There's different market segments emerging, like agri-PV, agricultural PV, and also solar coupled with aquaculture. Here at local producers Talison's booth, they made agri-PV very much the focus. The company's developed some 15 agricultural projects, the largest one coming in at 9.8 megawatts in size. They're targeting to complete 100 agricultural projects in 2017.
They have it in their portfolio. I mean, mounting structure suppliers, yeah, developers are looking at it. Yeah, I mean, smaller companies, larger companies, Talisman, GCL, for instance. Yeah, I mean, it's not that companies ignoring it. Yeah, and it is something which is being encouraged by the government as well. Yeah, they call it the double harvest. You harvest the sun and you harvest the crops below the panels. Yeah, aquaculture, floating PV power plants. Yeah, or along water canals.
So we're expecting China to come off the boil a bit this year. So it'll probably be 27 to 30 gigawatts. And of course that means that for all these manufacturers here, it could be a really tough year. They're still looking at rooftop projects and the various sections of China that are not covered by quota, like projects in Tibet and poverty alleviation projects. And also they're looking at top runner projects, which look at a different kind of technologically sophisticated products. But also they're looking outside China. And the problem that they're having is that there's just so many markets that could be big this year, that could grow, or they could be big in 2 or 3 years more realistically. But we can't really predict which ones they are until they launch auctions. And when they launch auctions, probably the prices will be super low and there'll be no margins for anyone anyway.
Well, it's very challenging. And so a lot of manufacturers, as we all know, have moved to downstream projects, and so they're trying to weigh or balance out some of the potential drop in demand by doing some of their own work, but they're not going to have the same volume as they will, from a lot of the big Chinese players. So the reality is the China supply chain or China demand story is absolutely going to affect the whole supply chain. So it is very difficult to forecast, but we see increasing requests for projects in other markets being shifted off to Q3 to try to get take advantage of some of the potential drop in pricing.